Those clothes were going to be bought, they were going to be worn, and I was going to be in debt. So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Woman. Thank you very much for stopping by. So today I'm going to tell you guys how I paid off my student loan, which is a bank loan of 100,000 Namibian dollars, which is equivalent to 100,000 rands. What I've realized is it's easier to learn from someone that you can relate to, someone either with a similar background, someone that looks like you in one way or another, someone that has a similar story to yours. That's why today I came here to share my story on how I paid off my student loan, and hopefully you can be motivated and be inspired to be on the same journey. Please do note, this is not financial advice, and I'm just sharing my experience, how I went about it, and hopefully that can be of use to you. You know, the reason why I'm sharing this is also because debt is often seen as a taboo. You know, we don't talk about it. Debt is there. We are constantly incurring debt, sometimes necessary debt, but because we don't talk about it, more and more people are sinking into debt. But the more we talk about it, the more we educate ourselves, you know, the more we're able to get out of debt and just make better financial decisions. Now, as I tell you guys how I went about paying off my student loan in only 1 year and 6 months, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community that has thousands of inspiring classes. You guys know me, I'm a proponent of self-development. So yes, on my journey of growth, I want to bring you guys along. Skillshare is such a great tool for self-education, you know, whether you want to deepen an existing skill, whether you want to learn a new one, or really whether you just want to get lost into creativity. It's such a great place. And especially for me, video, film, and photography, I have been loving the classes that are being given on film. One of the classes that I took that I really appreciated was a class on how to create intros for my videos. I'm sure, is that evident? Do you guys see it coming through from my content? The class was by J.R. Ali and it's titled Grab an Audience. It really shows you how to create enthralling intros for your videos in a very concise and yet captivating way. Basically, for me, it was a perfect way of short storytelling. Now, one important takeaway for me was really to plan my intros. Previously, I just shot my YouTube videos without really having a direction. Another aspect I love about Skillshare is it's specifically curated for learning, meaning there are no ads in between your lessons. And they're always launching new premium classes where you can stay focused and keep up with your creativity. That's really what I love. Skillshare is currently doing a limited offer. So the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click on this link below will get a free 1-month trial to Skillshare. Now let's delve into it, and hopefully, again, like I said, you guys, you can get away, or you can take away from this. The first thing that I did when I decided I want to pay off my student loan was to understand my finances. And it's important that one understands their finances, and in this instance, I'm talking about my loan. So I reached out to my bank and I indicated, guys, what exactly is my balance? They weren't actually very responsive, so I went into the bank because then it was still safe to go into the banks. Went into the bank, I got my statement. Guys, I was in shock. It was almost like the few years that I've been paying before, it's as if I was only paying interest and my loan amount barely moved. Then that was the first one. I saw my loan amount. The second one was really my interest rate. I needed to understand how am I paying my interest rates. So my interest rate was what was going to keep me in debt for quite a long period. Interest then was 16.5%. Guys, that is massive. So interest is very expensive. The longer you keep your debt, the more expensive your debt is, because on that debt you will be paying interest for as long as you have the debt. The longer you keep your debt, the more expensive it is for you, and that's money that you could essentially be using for other equally important things. After I was well aware of what my financial situation looked like with regards to my loan, the next thing I did was budgeting. You know, I've spoken about budgeting on my Instagram before I went into detail. So budgeting we often shy away from because it sounds so complicated, but it's actually not. A budget is simply you drawing up a plan of how you're going to spend your money. So it's impossible to know how much money you really have and where it's going unless you have a monthly budget. Like right now, do you actually know where your money goes to besides your utilities? You know, besides your rent, your mortgage, do you know where the rest of your money goes to? There's really no way of knowing how much extra money you have after you've paid your basic expenses unless you draw up a budget. So that's what I did. You guys, you know, after I drew up that budget, I was so disappointed in myself because I actually had so much extra money that I didn't have because I was just spending it on, you know, whatever my heart desired. Fine. I then did my budgeting and I realized I can actually triple the amount of money that I'm paying towards my loan, and on good months even quadruple it. You know, the extra money was really just going towards clothing. You guys, I was buying fast fashion, whatever trends. You know, if you ask my friends, they'll say Kanohakazala. At work, I wasn't even taking lunchbox to work. I would my heart's desires, guys. Of course it's necessary, but I think I went way overboard. I wasn't taking lunch, I was ordering takeout, buying clothes like I want. Yeah, it was definitely very unhealthy financial habits. After I saw that and what I could do towards my loan, obviously to decrease the balance and to decrease the interest that I am paying. I think that was my biggest motivating factor to pay off my loan. Besides getting out of debt, it's the amount on the interest rate. I then decided, I wish I knew it earlier, because I think I would have settled my debt earlier. But then I'm glad I still got to know what I know today, or what I knew then. The next thing I did was then I decided to live within my means. And this is very important, guys. It's very important to live within our means. And I know instant gratification can get the best of us, but it's very important. So when I decided to live in my means, I then set my goal to say, in 2 years, I need this loan gone. Now, I gave myself a realistic period because then I was coming out of uni. My salary wasn't that much. And obviously, again, this is relative, depends on different people. It was really your entry-level salary. So I gave myself 2 years, which was realistic for me. You know, the bank gave me 5 years to settle my debt, but then I said, let me do it in 2 years. Now, while living within my means, there are some serious decisions that I also took. Number one, I decided I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to live in my parents' house. I'm not going to go out and rent. The opportunity cost obviously is freedom, having my friends over so we can cook, dine, whatever, you know. Life of a graduate, a young professional. I want to live my best life with my friends and just be free and do what every other young professional is doing responsibly, I hope. So that's the first thing. I decided to stay home. Second thing was I decided to put off my car. Now, I wanted to buy a car earlier, but then I decided, let me put that off. I have debt. I have debt on my desk. And then the next thing I did was to avoid clothing accounts. You guys, I am so grateful. Thank you so much, Woven. I have to thank myself in third person because, guys, because I like clothes, I am so glad I avoided clothing accounts. To this day, I can happily sit here and say I am happy I have never ever owned a clothing account, because I knew if I got a clothing account, those clothes were going to be bought, they were going to be worn, and I was going to be in debt. So I stayed away from that. Staying within my means, I stayed in my parents' house. I took cab while coming to work. If I'm meeting up with my friends, I would take the cab. My friends were usually always very generous. If they don't pick me up, they would drop me off at home. So I was very fortunate. But on other times where I don't want to inconvenience people, I'm one of those. I don't really like to inconvenience people. I'll take a cab. After that comes a very challenging part. You have to stay disciplined. Self-discipline is I like to think it's a tough self-love, but it's one of those necessary things, and they always pay off. In terms of my self-discipline, I knew there might be a time when I slept. So I then told the bank, listen, instead of this small amount that you guys are deducting from my account because you clearly want to keep me in debt, because why are you deducting this small amount? I think the bank was just happy that I'm paying my installment and I'm paying my interest. They were just happy. They're not even trying to reach out to me to say, ma'am, do you want to maybe settle shorter period? No. Yeah, the self-discipline part is the toughest part, I like to think, because things will come up along the way, whether it's weddings, whether it's just a lot of things come up, but then you have to stay committed. At the same time, I left a bit of room to just still live and breathe so that this whole debt doesn't become draining for me and I throw the whole commitment away. So self-discipline is very, very important. What I did to aid myself was I just told the bank, guys, instead of deducting XYZ, please triple that amount and take it off on this date. I don't even want like stories with you where a later date. And then on some months where I saw that, okay, not much happened, there wasn't too much outing with the girls or whatever, then I would obviously add on top of that. Now, I need to highlight this. I was very fortunate that I was able to stay in my parents' house. But then obviously if you can't stay in your parents' house, I would think maybe get a cheaper place instead of running in the burbs. A more affordable and safer place. Time flies very quickly. Before you know it, you are done. And after that, you have to watch out for a lifestyle inflation, but that will cover in another video. And then the last thing I did was really to tell someone about my debt. I know, like I said, we shy away from this. It's a taboo, but it's important to have sort of an accountability partner. Yeah, I got an accountability partner, and I was very fortunate to have Etuna, who's currently my partner. Now, you guys that know Etuna know he is the strictest. If that's a word, he is so strict. I'm like the money spender in our relationship. He is the one that is going to lead us into generational wealth, and I couldn't be more grateful. So yes, we discussed finances. So I told him, listen, this is the loan I have, this is my plan, just to hold me accountable. And sometimes I would get really excited and I'll go off about my future expenditure, and he'll reel me in. He'll be like, and your student loan, did you pay? Are you sticking to it? So it's very important to have an accountability partner, someone that really checks whether you are in line with what you have set your goals to be. And one day I paid off my debt. I was so happy, guys. I sent him the text. I'm like, here is the text. Oh, is it here? I am finally student loan free. Here is the insert from the bank. Guys, it was such a heavy load that was lifted. It was like, now I have money to go to Cape Town. No, that wasn't the case. So I told him, he celebrated with me, and I also told my sister, hey sis, your girl is done paying off the bank. She celebrated with me because I share my journey with her. So that was really how I paid off my student loan. Know your finance, number 1. Number 2, budget. Number 3, live within your means. Number 4, stay disciplined. 5, have an accountability partner, and go at it. Go at it, once you have settled that debt, you guys, there's so much room to breathe. Yeah, so that's really how I paid off my student loan. I am student loan free. It's such a relief, guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you are learning. I do share more on my Instagram, especially on finances, just my journey, just some basic terminologies so that we pace ourselves up, budgeting, saving, investing, and the likes. So if you do care for that, do consider following me on Instagram so that we can grow together. Thank you very much for tuning in. From Woven, I will see you guys next time.